Module 2, Unit 2, Using Apps. In this unit, our objective is to learn and to be aware how to install and uninstall software applications. Maraming klaseng applications, guys. And to configure and compatibility settings. Ito yung mga pag-usapan din natin, what is really compatibility about and that you need to configure. And then we will also be able to explain the importance of software licensing. Why it needs to be licensed, why there is licensing, and the different types of licensing for every applications. And then describe as well the key features and different types of applications with different kind of formats and different kind of usage of all the kind of software applications. Excuse me. So to start with the applications, we have to learn how to install. When we say install, ito yung pag-setup ng applications. Again, when we say applications, or in other words, or apps, these are actually software programs. These are programs developed by different vendors. It comes in an app, and when it comes to installation, we need to have some basic information, basic processes. Now, what we call best practices. That when it comes to before installing applications, actually, it involves compatibility with the operating system. When we say compatibility, does the application is for Windows 10 or is it for Windows 11 only, or for meron tinatawag na backward compatibility that you can use with older versions of operating systems? That's what we mean by compatible. No, compatible ba, will it work? Sometimes even if it is working, may ibang functions that really doesn't work with the recent version, or it doesn't work with the older version. So pag may mga ganon, kahit nakapag-setup, minsan may mga missing actions that you cannot execute. It's a compatibility issue. It talks about compatibility, and then we need to be aware about the requirements. Ano bang kailangan ng software before you install it? These are the system requirements. Ano ba, when especially in hardware, ano ba ang disk space available needed, or what is the type of processor, or may mga vendor specific, kasi may mga hardware specific na software na it is only written, can be only run on a particular hardware. Like Apple, for example, diba? It doesn't, the Mac OS, it won't run on any IBM PC or Android hardware, of course. So, and then system requirements, I mean, kailangan anong minimum processor speed. May mga software that runs only on i7, or that run on lalo na mga Pentium base or AMD processor, different kind of processor. So we need it has system requirements when it was written that we need to be aware. The install and install, and then we need to be aware of the installation instructions, kasi usually even me, download, install, click, and then install. So may mga installation instructions like where the directory should be installed. May mga software kasi na for example, lalo na yung mga data intensive, may mga involved database. So it is one of the best practices there, just to let you know, na hindi sinasama ang data most of the time with the system software, with the operating system itself. So may mga ganon. And meron naman dapat talagang very specific folder then na you have to install, where the location of you have to specify the location of the software. And then licensing. Maraming klaseng licensing na we will discuss later on. We need to be aware when it comes to licensing. And licensing are, of course, sometimes free, and sometimes it comes with a cost, depending also on applications. So whether standalone or business company-wide application, or minsan multiple users. Those are the things when installing applications that we need to be aware. So, when you are installing a desktop applications, napansin niyo ba itong window na to that sometimes comes up and asking you whether to continue or not? Actually, in these are for to inform you. These are good way about operating system na before without notice na bigla pag when you click accidentally install na lang na install. So it's about Windows and program files and folders when you're installing a desktop application. So it is a file. It comes with that you need to be installed, that is installed in a specific folder. So siniset up yan. Itong tawag, you are setting up. This is a setup application. May mga applications na when you installing it, merong setup programs, merong executable. This is a setup file, lalo na a setup.exe. It's an executable file. It is a setup program. And then, merong kailangan ng signature and meron din kailangan ng UAC, which stands for User Account Control. There are applications that can be only installed with administrative privileges. Yung mga admin, yung meron mga admin privileges. Kaya user account control ang tawag doon. And then, ito meron mga advanced options like for example specifying only a specific library, a specific component of the software. Those are the things. Those are advanced installation. Meron naman yung lang standard installation lang na naka-check na yung particular basic components or the minimum software that you need to be installed. Yung advanced, those are the things beyond the default. Yun ang ibig ko sabihin dito. And then you can also install applications through, for example, on Windows, merong Microsoft Store. And you can see a lot of apps in there by typing search, and then from Wi-Fi, Speedmaster, and then even gaming applications. Maraming apps. So what's the difference between those apps that are installed through Microsoft Store or sa Mac OS? Remember, yung Apple Store, even on your phones, di ba? So here that you need to be aware is a sandbox restricting. When we say sandbox, guys, ito yung remember na yung parang sa playground, sa children playground, merong dong maliit na box with sand. That's a sandbox. So doon nakapaligid yung mga baga parang secluded in that area yung sand na yun. Hindi kumakalat, hindi nakakontaminate. So that's sandbox. When it comes to software, ang tawag doon it's been tested, controlled in a secure environment. Ang environment na yon is a sandbox. Yun. Na hindi ma-infect yung ibang applications or it is free from malware and so what is this virus. It cannot damage actually different components of the software of the operating system or different applications, whether in a desktop or in a cloud. And then basically most of the time kung sinong user will be able to download and install whatever apps that you can access, either free or comes with a price. Now let's talk about compatibility. Now we are aware na what compatibility means, di ba? This is either would run on a recent version of operating system or a different version or both. Yon. And then to know about compatibility information of a particular application like Snagit, you right click on the icon and then you go to properties and then you go to the details tab. Makikita nyo rito yung product version. And other information about the Snagit, about the file version, the product name, the copyright itself, kung sining gumawa, the executable file na meron pa silang mark na Snagit 32, it means 32-bit. So these are the information and the size of the application itself. And then you go to compatibility tab. This is, for example, if it is not running, automatically it is running, right? But if it is not running, you do this, you click on this and it will tell you. It will tell you about the software, and then it will tell you if it is compatible or not. And there are suggestions that you will get lalo na pag online or connected sa internet ang iyong computer. And then you can also have the option to configure manually. This is for advanced users that it will give you, I mean, you can try and you can see some options what to do in order, I mean, to make to run it, and then to fix the compatibility issues. And then meron namang dito you see this, if you the compatibility mode, if you click on this checkbox, it will give you an option to run on particular version of Windows, from Windows 8 to Windows, sometimes even way back Windows 95. May ganon. Because lalo sa mga homegrown na tinatawag na applications, walang ano yan eh, pag sinabi homegrown, ang updates niyan and improvements is dependent na sa company or the person that who created the program. And sometimes it's not always updated to the latest operating system, so you have this compatibility option to run if it is built on an older version, especially older version of Windows. And then may mga ano din settings, like for example, meron kasing program that works well on a particular screen size. Like for example, 640 and 80 kasi ang default ko ano yung screen resolution ng iyong computer, and then you will see yung orientation ng application is parang stretch out, there's too much spaces, or doesn't look right, in other words. And then you have other options like as an administrator. Meron kasing functions ng software that requires or that needs administrator privileges to execute it, or otherwise it will not, for example, save a data, access a particular file or folder. And then this one, and then you can actually, go with the function of OneDrive. If you are aware yung OneDrive, ito yung drive in the internet, if you have that. And then, of course, and then kung ito kasi sa admin, if it is you have this properties adjusted, it will only work for a particular user. So you have this option na anyone using the computer is already adjusted to these compatibility settings. Now, in using apps, we also have to learn the basics, even just the basic when you're repairing and installing software. This is very important, and this is a somehow a basic IT skill that is that could work with everyone else. It doesn't have to be an engineer or an IT professional. So when you are repairing and installing software, all you have to do is go to the control panel and go for these programs and features, and this window will come out. Makikita nyo rito on this window all the applications installed sa inyong computer, and you will be able to know kung sino yung publisher, kung sino yung vendor, sino yung developer, and the date it's been installed. It also tells you the size and the version. So here, what you can do is to uninstall, you select the program, and then you right click, or you can right click and do uninstall. That's how you do it. Actually, kung maraming software, instead of one by one, you have the option to organize it in either in icon or in by date or by size. Sometimes what I do is in size, pag masyadong malaki yung storage hard disk requirement or the file size, and you're not using it for quite some time, you have to remove it kung di naman ginagamit. So this actually where I always go when you are repairing and installing software. And then there's also features when it comes to application that you have to enable or disenable. When we say enable, those are the things, for example, dito sa screen na to, yung mga naka-highlight, either darkened or naka-checkbox. Ito, mga naka-enable yan and naka-install, meaning it is working. It is ready to use, it's functional. When it is unchecked or unselected, naka-disable yon, meaning naka-install hindi gumagana or you have to install it. When you click OK, it will tell you automatically not to install it when you have to enable it. When you enable it. When you disable it, for example, you don't need this Hyper-V. This is for virtualization. You don't need this. You uncheck it and then click OK. It will be disabled. It will even prompt you to uninstall if you have to. But this one, enabling, disabling, it's in there, only that it's not active or not in use. Kumbaga sa file or program, nasa closet, pero it's not open. And you can access it anytime, use it anytime when you enable it. Kasi this one actually helps out in freeing up some resources on your computer. Kasi pag naka-enable yan, operating system, minomonitor yan, chine-check out, ine-execute, remains to be healthy, and then it's using computer resources. So these are one way how to manage your computer. To make it fast, when it's slow, this is how you do it. Sometimes these are the tools that you use to remove applications that you need or that slows you down. Because the more you use, if may mga components na ginagamit, it uses resources, di ba? Now, talking about software licensing, this is really significant when it comes to applications when you are using software. So when it comes to software licensing, meron tinatawag na EULA, no? Parang celebrity, no? End User License Agreement. Ito yung as users, no? We have a particular agreement that we signed, that we need to be aware before signing actually. Pag may mga flaws or mga unidentified flaws that will cause some damage or impact with your software, nakaspecify yan. And then about limitation and restrictions ng software, ni-specify yan sa license. And then meron ding license that talks about for single use or group use that I mentioned earlier. When we say single use license, it is only allowed for a single user, and you cannot share or install a software that comes with a product key or with the same product ID. The same product, the same ID, the same key, it comes with one license, and it can only be used by one user. And then meron naman na the same product key, the same product ID, but it's for a group of user or site actually. Meron ganon. Merong particular group that could use the software or particular site. Meron naman tinatawag concurrent licensing. Like, ito yung mga when you are renewing a software or a particular different applications, it comes with the same vendor, and then concurrent license. No, that you can use the same license or the same software with a different user and a combination of application. Yun naman yun. Like a license is combined for a particular group and a different user as well, or a different application. And then meron din tinatawag na client access. This is more on sa operating system. Like Windows, may license yan. Windows Server, may license yan. Yung Windows Server, aside from a license for usage, meron din clients that will, this license will give the operating system that will be only allowed kung ilang client lang pwede niyang i-accept or i-process. Yun ang type of licensing. And then when we say licensing, you have to register. Merong registration yan. Registration online or certification authority or sa vendor itself. And then meron din tinatawag na subscription when it comes to licensing versus to one-time purchase. When we say subscription for a particular period of time, good for 1 year, 2 years, or 2 users only, yun ang mga subscription of licensing. Meron namang one-time purchase na you don't have to renew. Yung pala nakalimutan ko sabihin, when say subscription, it will expire and then you have to renew. One time is that until the end of life ng software, you have the same license that you can use, whether it's single or for a group. Now, when it comes to application, we have this what we call these words, no, shareware, freeware, and open source. What are those? When you say shareware, guys, it's a software na libre to install. You can actually share it. You can there are things that you cannot share, no, associated with your email. So when you share shareware, like ito yung mga demo that you can download online. It allows you to be installed on any workstation for a certain period or limited time. 30 days usually. Evaluation period yun eh. Shareware yon. And then meron tinatawag na freeware, which is free of charge, of course, kaya nga freeware. So you see, sometimes we confuse these words or substitute them when we say shareware and freeware. So there's a significant difference between the two. And then open source. Ito yung, it's been mentioned on the previous unit. When you say open source, it's free. Now, these are developed applications that it's not limited by time. You can use it anytime as long as it is compatible with your computer or with your operating system. And then when it comes to open source, guys, is that you can change the code, you can improve the software. These are the kind of software that may mga ang tawag dito, customization, that it's not workable to other who use the same open source, or it is built for a particular purpose. Now, there's also software na you've been using this every day. They are called productivity software. For example, in this kind, yung spreadsheet, yung Word, mga word processor, and browser. This is what you use at work, diba? This is what you do. These are the software that you use that helps you accomplish what you need to do. Like for example, financial recording, even personal finance. I use this. Word, of course, we use this every day. And then presentation. No? Before it's only for work, but this time, for many years now, no? We use at school for personal demonstration. No? It's very useful to. These are productivity software. We call it office softwares, no, but actually it's not all. It's a more specific productivity software like visual diagramming. These are for IT people, engineers, programmers. It's only aside from text and numbers, may mga images, pictures that you can capture, or you could insert. And then meron din tinatawag na collaboration software. In my definition, when we say collaboration, ito yung coordinating software, things that somehow you use for communication. You collaborate with employees through email or HR with personal information managers that regulates your personal information or company identity, company information. And then online, meron din ito yung mga Google Workspace or the storage like the OneDrive I mentioned earlier, or Box. Maraming online, di ba? Google Drive itself, those are online and cloud-based, but those are another type of software, collaboration software actually. And then remote desktop tool is a tool, lalo na sa mga IT to, yung to access a computer that is, on a different city or remote, that you need help, that I need to see. And meron din tinatawag na screen sharing. Screen sharing, ang pinagkaiba kasi nito, a remote desktop, when I remote in, naglalak ng screen sa the other at the remote end. Hindi mo makikita yung desktop. Unlike screen sharing, nagre-remote din siya, pero you can see the screen. Both of you can work together on the same screen. Kaya nga literal yan, screen sharing, di ba? What are other collaboration software? There's a lot. You can tell. And there's so many, maraming klase. Meron din instant messaging, di ba? You can tell. I mean, on top of my head, there's a lot I could say. Messenger, di ba? WhatsApp. And then meron ding you can call. Instant messaging is for chatting, di ba? Na for text or video, and meron namang voice over IP na software that you can call instead of using a telephone line or a cellular phone. And then video conferencing. Ito yung you call, and then with video you can see the guy you're talking with, di ba? Ito yung Zoom Ito yung, ano ba yung sa Google? No? Google Chat, no? And then sa Microsoft in Teams, or even a combination of the three, magkakasama na in one package tulad ng Teams, even Google, even Zoom. No, you can do all of those. And then there are software na for business level, aside from personal use. Like for example, desktop publishing, no, for graphicals, for drawing, no, like aside from the room that you have, no, may mga software for paint, ang daming ano software. This is actually one of my hobbies, no. I like collecting before na mga for software that you can use for graphics, o lalo na pag 3D and animation. Those are the things. These are expensive software as well, and it requires more hardware resources, lalo na when it involves imaging. And then ito, computer aided design, they call it CAD, and sometimes you will hear actually AutoCAD, automatic computer aided design. This ginagamit ng mga engineers. I use this when you are designing structures, electrical systems, communication systems, major technical, but these are business software. Also, just like any software, merong licensing, merong control, merong resources or best practices to install, may mga procedures at at a business level, I would say, na more intensive, more technical, and really requires some advanced skills or IT know-how. What else? Meron ding mga software that you use in project management, accounting, and commercial. Database software, even more. May mga database administrator pa nga eh. And then, any software na specific sa communication o kaya sa power system o kaya sa manufacturing, even the business ng airport, meron yan. May mga sariling software yan na you don't find anywhere else unless you've been involved sa mga ganong klaseng industry. So, in this unit, it is recommended that you do some practicing in a lab activity in managing software applications. In managing software applications, it's been introduced to you, like for example, the best practices in installing, incompatibility issues, use a different operating system or different platform like Apple or Linux. You do those and try to apply, try to exercise. You don't have to be that intensive, but just for the sake of experience, of course, it's more recommended to do it on Windows environment. Definitely, you don't have to spend to do that. So in this unit, we discuss how to install and uninstall software applications, even discuss and to configure compatibility settings. We also covered the importance of software licensing, isn't it? And how, what are the different types of license available from user, for individual to up to company or business level. So you should be able actually to describe the features, different types of applications when it comes to file formats. I think like for example a spreadsheet, yung doc, it comes with a different file formats. So I hope this has been informative to you. See you in the next unit.